I don't have enough money for Taco Bell, but what I do have pleases me greatly. This is the reprint second edition version of the Dark Sun campaign setting. Very difficult to read, I know, but here you go. I'm sorry about the glare. And this set is excellent. I don't know anything about the first set, but there is one single feature which makes this set really, really good. And we'll get into that in a minute. I've taken out the fabric map that it came with. I just want to say that when I was using this set for about 2.5 years, we did not find much use for this. Players probably shouldn't be given more than small area maps, not entire world maps for this campaign setting. So let's get into the meat of this box set. Again, we use this. Excellent. All my players had fun. There was one minor issue I had with them, and that was their balking a little bit on the psionic system. Here's the DM screen. You've got 4 sections here, and what I didn't use this. I actually photocopied all the areas on here just so I could keep it in good shape. That's what I like to do. And you've got your turning undead tables, all your initiative modifiers, your thacos, your saving throws. There was a big kick-up bonus for Constitution, and it's got some other things here. Again, psionics. The elves were able to run for a super long time. There's other abilities that some of the characters got, but otherwise it's the same game. One of my players had fault with the Defiler roll trying to get his spells back, but they were in the desert and so it was difficult. So this is the Way of the Psionicists, and this same system also appears in one of the Skills and Powers books. It works really well. One of my players still uses it today, but we're in Greyhawk. So there is use for it, but it's not heavy-handed the way this setting was. This setting, more than any other setting, uses psionics. And it advises the players to have psionics. But my players, again, kind of balked. So they chose like a lesser version of the psionics. I'll get into that in a minute. So this is the Wanderer's Chronicle. This is mainly for the Dungeon Master. And you don't have to read and know everything in here. You want to pick an era or pick things that maybe an area of the world that you want to run the game from and choose it from there. There is useful information in here. It tells you the history. The players shouldn't know all the history. They might know bits and pieces. And you're going to have to look that up on your own. There are several sites dedicated to that. This book here, this is the main focus of the game for the characters. And again, if your group gets together, some of them should buy this on one of the websites that it's available on, and then maybe just copy and trade it amongst your cell phones or tablets. But you're going to be using this book a lot. It's got all the races that you're going to play, and it's crazy. The races are, well, first of all, the ability scores, you're rolling 5 die 4, so there's a chance at getting 20 in a skill. And you can play Aarakocra, dwarf, elf, half giant, halfling, human, mole, Terran, and a Thri-kreen. And there are abilities and good and bad things on each of the creatures. For instance, Thri-kreen, they never sleep. half giants are insanely strong. They get a good bonus and everything. There are pluses and minuses for the races when you're rolling up their ability scores. This Mystery of the Ancients is a module, an adventure that comes with it to get you started. These are the maps we used here. I'm not going to actually unfurl them for you, but they worked well. And yeah, this campaign setting was a lot of fun. We used it for 2 years. My players want to go back to this sooner rather than later. I love Greyhawk, and I'm trying to make this new thing work. So we'll see what happens. This was a lot of fun, and I saved. I took out some stuff that I had kept. Let's see. This is nothing. This is a book called The Will and the Way. This is, again, more information. This is more based on the older psionic system, but you can still use the abilities. They're just rolled for in a different way. That's all it is. It's super easy. And this is an example, me as DM, as I roll up, say, these are town guards. And I just use a lot of the same guards over and over again. Some of the guards, you'll see, I rolled randomly, and they've got psionics. That's what that PSP stands for. They're a wild talent. And of course, I've got maybe some guardhouses. This was an adventure where they had to break into a compound led by some bad guys that had slaves, and they had to destroy these vats that were inside these, almost like a factory. That this is how the gang was earning money. I forget the name of the town and everything, but again, when we go back to that, it might be important. But yeah, you've got to do, in order to have a good game, DMs have to put in the work. You can't just, it's not like 5th edition. You have to do the work necessary to make the game, exciting and alive. I had to come up with a system and how to roll for the temperatures for the days. No big deal. I just, because the temperatures would become almost 140 to 160 in the daytime, which would make any creature either hide under the sand, or if you're a player, you would have to hide from the heat underneath their wagon or whatever that they had at the time. Let's see. This was a traveling. In the town, in the town that they frequented, there were these sellers that would come by, and they would sell some magic items every now and then. Most of the time, the players could not afford them. Other times, when they got some money, they would get a potion or whatever once in a while. And it's funny, you're trying to sell them just swords. Anything with metal was hard to come by. So you give them a sword with a decent pommel and real steel, and they're really good. These right here, kind of an example of what I did. I made these, I'm calling them chits, and they're different animals in the game. There's like a lizard type. There was an erdlu, and you'd put the miniature on top of that. Once you drew a bunch of these, I do have them somewhere, because I don't have any miniatures of Dark Sun creatures, really. I looked for them, but they're hard to come by. What else? That's pretty much it. There's a few things here. I've got temperatures on Athas. I did like a little thing like at night, and then in the daytime, and then at night again. It gets, the desert, it gets really cold at night. There's nothing to keep in the heat. So it's hot during the day, and then at night you're freezing. So they had to prepare for it on long journeys. You can either run city campaigns or you could make the party travel. It all depends what you're willing to do as DM and what the characters are willing to put up with, honestly. That's it. Have a good evening.